As far as we're concerned, he's a head in a bag. Alright, Rick Waller came back again, and I've just watched the Doctor Who Christmas special, The Husband of River Song. And it was better than the last few Christmas specials, which isn't saying much. Shall we find out how much better it was? Let's have a look at the show, see what was good, what was bad, what was really quite ugly. And let's jump into it straight away now. Okay, this is where the spoiler warning comes in, discussing the plot. So the Doctor's on this planet and they're looking for a surgeon. He gets dragged in and it turns out River Song's there. What a coincidence. So the head of the planet has a piece of diamond lodged in his head. It's the Doctor's job to remove it. Except it's not really. River's plan is to take the head, kill the boy, kill the king and run off with the diamond. Typical River, essentially. Unfortunately, it turns out the king's a cyborg, and the cyborg body is chasing after them to try and get the head back. And all wackiness ensues. They end up at the restaurant at the end of the universe. Okay, maybe not quite the restaurant at the end of the universe, but it's the restaurant for all the villains and smugglers of the galaxy. Only it turns out all those rogues and smugglers and bad people aren't there. All that's there are the buyers. The one set of buyers. And also the restaurant manager betrays River and tells them that they need the Doctor. Oh, River doesn't realise the Doctor is with her at this point. The restaurant crashes onto a planet and the Doctor says to build a restaurant. And then we get the scene of essentially saying goodbye to River. Possibly again, but hey, this is Moffat, what do you expect? And to be fair, there's something that felt final about this one. So yeah, it's not a complex plot. It's got some interesting elements, but nothing too spectacular, but nothing too awful. It's pretty middling considering it's a River plot and it's a Christmas special. That's alright. I don't mind that so much. I can live with that. Well, the Doctor was pretty much on sparkling form as normal. Peter Capaldi is so good. Really good. Love Peter Capaldi to death. As for his scene with the first going into the TARDIS for the first time and doing the "it's bigger on the inside" over dramatic, overblown. That was fun. But I really would have hated it if he hadn't said, I always wanted to hear that done properly. I also liked his bemusement that River didn't know him. I think him giving the diamond away towards the end, that was probably my favourite scene of the entire episode. Worked really nicely. He felt just like the Doctor to me there. That was proper Doctor stuff, which can often be overwritten in a River Song story. His disapproval of River's methods was also really good. I liked that a lot. I've got to say, Moffat actually managed to pull this one off pretty well, I thought. Still not that much to say about the Doctor, really. Now, this is another one who splits opinions amongst the fans. Some really love River Song, some really hate her. Me, I'm rather meh. I don't hate her, but I don't really think she particularly adds much to the story. I think she's had her day. To be fair, I think Moffat might be accepting that too, because this really felt like the ending for her. Okay, we know how she dies, we've seen that already, but this felt like goodbye. She's still got a bit annoying for me at times, but mostly she was alright. It was essentially, when she was bad, was essentially after she found out it was the Doctor. Then the flirting started. God, do I hate the flirting. But up until then, she was good. Her best moment though, and this may be her best moment ever, was when she made that speech about, yeah, she's in love with the Doctor. Never said anything about him loving her back. He'd never be that small, that parochial. I know she didn't say parochial, but I can't remember the exact wording, and I like the word parochial. So yeah, that was a really, really nice speech, I thought. And that lets her get away with so much more, because it sort of justifies who the Doctor is, really. It reinforces that it's still the Doctor. He doesn't fall in love. And if you think he does, you don't understand him. That was awesome. That was spot on. I just wish Moffat carried that through all the time. And King Hydrofoil, or whatever his name was, he was alright. He was nice and shouty. He made a good counterpoint to the Doctor. And the robot suit looked cool. Looked a bit like something out of Mega Man. And his head coming off reminded me a bit of Krang. Or the blue guy from Series 5? Series 6? One or the other. He could have done with doing a lot more. We're told how much of a badass he is. And we're told how dangerous and vicious and evil he is. We saw none of it. As far as we're concerned, he's a head in a bag. Which is fun. If you're going to make us want to think he's the bad guy, let him do some bad guy stuff. Let him, destroy a galaxy. Instead of just saying, he's destroyed galaxies. Because, it's TV. It's storytelling. It's show, don't tell. There were a few other interesting characters. I mean, let's say Matt Lucas's character. He was fun, kind of. I didn't like the references to him wetting himself, but that's never been my humour. He was not so good when he became part of the robot, though. Well, to start with, he was, but the ending, that just was stupid. As for River's other husband, the buyer, interesting effect with pulling the head away. That was kind of cool, but again, he's a devout worshipper of this head. The best additional character was the miner, the one the Doctor gave the diamond to, the one who tried to save people from the wreckage. And even he really wasn't given much. It was just, that was a charming moment. I especially liked the bit where the Doctor said, if it's any consolation, they probably weren't worth saving. But you're a good man for trying. That was wonderful! That was just wonderful. And that it made sense why the Doctor rewarded him from that. As ever with the Now, you can't really build that many characters, or it seems Moffat can't. So overall, it's a mixed bag. It's some really wonderful moments, like River's speech, or one of the Doctor's speeches, and there's some really quite poor moments, like the ending with Matt Lucas and him wetting himself. And so the story wasn't deep and meaningful, but it didn't need to be. The scene where he gave River the sonic screwdriver, I'm torn on that scene. I liked it, I think, but it's been pointed out to me how it seemed tacked on to, bridge the gap. And yeah, I can kind of see that, but then again, kind of not. It definitely had a feeling that it was tacked on, but Sonic Trowel was really poor, and it was decidedly poor. I mean, bring back the Sonic sunglasses is kind of poor, even though we still saw the Sonic sunglasses in this. And the whole speech and him saying about how the Doctor doesn't really care, doesn't really show he cares, and he doesn't give gifts and things like that. That was pretty nice. That pretty much builds up to the giving of the Sonic. So it does have a series of structures to it. But do those structures work? Not really, I don't think. You know, the pieces are there. They just haven't necessarily lined up as well as they could have. The thought counts though, and the thought was good. I approve of that much. And it was a fun romp. It was a genuinely fun romp. River and the Doctor's flirtiness was toned down, mostly because she didn't know it was the Doctor. That's definitely a plus in its favour. But then when it's over, it left me not enthused, really. I'll tell you what it did feel like though. With the ending for Clara, with the ending for River, it felt like housekeeping. With Moffat, you know, tidying up the loose ends a bit. Is that what he's doing? Is he tidying up loose ends? And if so, does that mean he's leaving? Is this a sign that Moffat's going? If it is, it's going to get extra points in the future. I mean, I could very much be reading a totally wrong thing into it there, so don't take that as a spoiler or anything, or as a Christmas present or anything. But it does make me wonder. Beard-strokingly wonder. As for an overall score, it's certainly no more than a 7. Definitely no more than a 7. And that's probably being generous to it and grading it on, you know, previous Christmas specials. So that pretty much wraps up the Series 9 reviews. I know I've got one more still to sneak in, and I will be doing that at some point. And maybe even do a quick closing of the show, you know, summary. But other than that, I'll be back with you when Doctor Who's back with us. Until then, have a good new year, and see you later.